Okay, for this question it says we have a right square pyramid. So right off the bat, since this says it's a square pyramid, we know this side is also 1.5, and a sphere made of marble. The dimensions of each figure in feet are shown. It says the density of the marble is 160 pounds per cubic foot. What is the difference in pounds between the weight of the sphere and the weight of the pyramid? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. So when we're dealing with density, we need to know that formula. Density is equal to mass over volume. That is not given on your reference sheet. That is a formula you're going to need. When we're talking about the weight, that's talking about the mass. So we need to think about what we have here. We have density, so we know the D. We're trying to figure out the M, and we are going to be able to calculate the volume because we have all the dimensions we need. So now we can use our reference sheet to help us. On our reference sheet for a square pyramid, our volume formula is 1/3 BH. The B stands for the area of the base. In this picture, since it was a square, this is our base. A square is going to be 1.5 times 1.5 for our area. So right here for our big B, we would say 1.5 times 1.5. In our formula then, we're going to plug in that for our answer. So this is going to be 2.25. Our height is shown here as 2, so we'll plug that in. And now, oops, that should have been a 2. And now we just multiply all of those values together. So in your calculator, you can type 1/3 times 2.25 times 2, and we get an answer of 1.5. So this is our volume for the pyramid. So right now, I know my density is 160, so I'm going to say 160 equals, I don't know my mass, and I know my volume is 1.5. I can solve this by multiplying by 1.5. I could also think about there being a 1 on the bottom here and think about cross multiplication. So I get 240 is my mass. So that is for my pyramid. I still need to figure out the volume for my sphere. I see this is 2. That's my diameter. So that would mean that my radius is 1. Volume for a sphere on my reference sheet is 4/3 pi r to the third. So in this case, our r value is 1. When I work that all out, I'm going to get 4/3 pi because 1 to the third is just 1. So now when I do the sphere, I have 160 is equal to m, and then 4/3 pi goes on the bottom. If I think about this as being over 1, then I can just cross multiply. I'm going to type 4/3 times pi times 160 into my calculator. We want to be careful. Our direction says round to the nearest hundredth. So when I round this answer to the nearest hundredth, it's going to be 0.21. We want to know the difference in pounds between these two. So to get my final answer, I'm going to subtract because that keyword difference means subtract. When I subtract, my final answer is 430.21. So this is the answer I would type in the box.